Yo, can you guys hear me? I'm also testing some stuff out with the stream. Like, if anyone has used OBS before, if you know how to make it so that like the background music, like y'all can still hear it, but I can't hear it, let me know. I've been trying to figure that out today. Again, I'm using OBS. I had to restart the stream a few times today because for some reason frames kept dropping, so it was like delayed. Let's see. For those that just joined, today we're just testing out some stuff, or at least I'm testing out some stuff. I'm done trading with my personal account, for example. I'm not even just funded accounts. But I think what I'm gonna do for future streams is have this up. That way people understand like what's going on, because I think there's a few people that ask me about like the position tool. I don't know if they're like brand new to trading, but they asked me like what the thing, the drawing even is on my chart, and I was like, this is basically like where you would enter your trade, and then where your stop loss is, where your TP is. So I'll try to have this up in the future for streams. That way, it's more visually like appealing, I guess, to be able to see like what the trade is, where the TP, where stop loss is. This is a lot more easier to see than me just putting a position tool with like nothing else on a chart, you know? Very surprised though today that this held. Usually we don't hold a PY within 2 sweeps. Usually on the second break, we will continue higher and go to the next supply. The fact that this held here, it's a little sus to me. This means that instead of this could just be inducement for this PY here to go lower. But there was a stop hunter here that did not take, that he could have taken. It was here, off this low that made a new high. Would enter here and your TP would have been here. So that was a potential setup you could have taken. But like, look, we failed once. We've also failed twice with a massive wick here. This is definitely like not normal in a sense. I'd say big majority of times, 2 sweeps, the PY is done, and you look for another PY. Oh, whoops. You look for another PY. Why does it keep doing this? I'm trying to move this thing. Usually you look for another PY, and I was even going on the seconds here to see if there's anything here on the seconds. Like maybe there's like multiple, sometimes within a PY, there's gonna be multiple things on the seconds where you have even smaller PYs and such, but in this case, you don't see anything here, right? Like even on the seconds, I tried going through different seconds, it's just 1 PY. Past few days, my daily bias indicator has been going crazy. It's been printing basically bearish almost every single day. It's been getting it right for the most part. You could took longs at 1050 was the way. Yeah, this was literally the best long of the day here. 1050. Here? Oh, I don't know about 1050. The best longs of the day would be after this, because if you take longs anywhere here or here, you're counter trending the trend, because on a higher time frame the trend is downside. If you look at here, we've been breaking lows. You know, we did the sweep here, but look what happened. We swept and we failed We failed. And we kept failing to go higher. So your good setup today would have been, or your counter setup would have been here. And you could have TP'd, you know, trendline liquidity. There's a lot of TPs you could have had. And then your A setup, like your good setup today, would have been the short off this 1 hour supply here. This would have been the best setup of the day because it's pro trend. And if you wanted to take counter trends, you had a lot of nice pro internal swing structure on the right here. Like all these trades here, you could have taken. This is a break. This is a sweep. To go higher. Holding demand here. Went higher. Like, there's a lot of trades in between here. I would say this is not super ideal just because it is choppy. It gets choppy at some point. You can clearly tell here. Kind of stays in a box. Ideally, it keeps going higher like this, but you could have caught some trades if you missed some. Like for example, this sweep here, you could have had an entry model, for example, here. This is likely to go lower here for a new session low. That's what I think here. And then for example, your TP could have been just next high here. So this would have been your trade right here, for example. If we didn't fail twice, then yes, I'd be thinking about maybe taking shorts here. But we failed twice here. So it's like, it's very suspicious usually when you fail twice. You typically get like one internal sweep within one POI and then it goes. I mean, 11:50 your time, bro. 11:50. I assume something like this. But yeah, you could have had an easy re-entry because the re-entry would have been even better as an A+ setup. Liquidity sweep, it would have got a nice 2 to 3 R here. But yeah, we should be going for a new session low now. Now the supply held. Yeah, low-key check ES. Maybe ES didn't do 2 sweeps because I feel like that might be okay. See, once you go on ES here, it makes sense now. You know, look at this. ES did no sweep at all. No sweep at all. This is something I do have to get used to. I feel like also with NQ. I've been trading mostly NQ for the past like few months. I used to always trade ES, and I just know from what I've seen that NQ does more sweeps than ES. That's why ES typically, at least from my experience, has a higher win rate than trading NQ. Yeah, ES just have one. Look at this. So yeah, usually if you have both the charts up, it's an even better probability. Yeah, this would have been crazy short on ES. Maybe I should have had that up, honestly, here. Would have definitely helped. What do you think of the 15-minute PY under 11 session low on gold? Let me see gold. Let me switch tabs here. $15-minute? Not too good. We're bearish on gold, very bearish. We swept, but we failed to go higher here. Because of that, we're going lower now. I think we're bearish, completely bearish on gold. Meaning, if you try to long down here, you're taking a counter trend trade. Daily bias indicator is also pointing bearish, so you don't want to really go against my daily bias indicator for the most part. Just based on my data collected, it's accurate more often than not. So we have a daily demand below as well that price can be going for. Therefore, it's not wise to be long in gold. Like, you shouldn't be long any of these. You should not be really trading, especially since you see like gold does this. It creates new ranges despite there's a range on the left. This is basically just like your QM model kind of thing. But I wouldn't consider this QM model just because there's no big drop. Like, to me personally, I don't know. There's no reason to really long down here when the higher time frame is bearish. If you were looking for shorts, you'd be already in shorts. Maybe you can find something on a higher time frame. Sorry, my chart is so cluttered up. It might even be lagging. I'm gonna have to record the rest of the videos and then post them, so I can delete my charts. We'll see. I'm trying to see if there's a PY that got hit in gold. Do you guys see one? For this short here, I don't think I see one. All I see is London session high sweep. I don't see actual PY. There is one on the 1 minute. There's a 1 minute PY. It probably would have taken you maybe a few attempts to get the short though, depending on how you manage your risk here. Maybe like, let's say you take 1 or 2 L's, maybe a break even, and then you just be holding this for the rest of the day because the trend is bearish. But you see how like there's times when you counter trend and you win still. Take out low, session low, you counter trend here, you still win. You counter trend here technically, and you still win. You counter trend here again, and you're still winning. At this point, technically, you're trading pro trend on the right, which is fine. But at some point, just know this trend on the right, in terms of bullishness, will fail. It will stop. Because we're here trying to mitigate higher time frame trend again, which is bearish. So something you definitely want to keep in mind when you're trading. Like, even if you're the wrong direction, you should still be profitable if you're taking both sides of the market. Like, I even tell some of my students, try trading both sides of the market. If you can never get your bias correct, trade both longs and shorts. Because look, you're winning longs here. You're also winning longs here, and then shorts finally play out. Unless you see a reason for price to go further up, I just don't see any supply. Everything else looks fully mitigated above. NQ took out new session low. There's the impulse model, but that is counter trend. Again, we're still bearish on NQ. Also, for y'all on the stream, if you could fill this, oh, wrong button. If you could fill this form out here. I know some people already filled it out. I saw y'all suggestions. If you can fill that out, and tell me what you want to see more, what you maybe want to see less on the channel, and what new stuff you guys want to see on the channel in terms of like content, whether that's streams, whether that's trade recaps. What do you guys find the most helpful before you're trading? Like, do you prefer majority streams, maybe one trade recap a week, or do you prefer something like less streams, more trade recaps? Those are kind of like the two main things I've been focusing on, just because everything else, like a beginner's course I've already done too, for people that are new. So there's also a lot of so much free beginner stuff in the Discord as well. So I think beginner stuff wise, I don't need to make any more videos on that. I think we got a good enough foundation for most people, and most people catch up on the beginner stuff pretty quickly too. So you don't require as much content for beginner level trading content. But if there's other types of videos you guys want to see, long form, let me know. You can, if you want to take this, you can. We do have a pretty nice gaps above to fill, but if you do take this, just know you're going against the trend, and if you lose, it's kind of just like a lower probability. I mean, I'll take it with y'all on here just because it's not like personal account or anything. I don't really care if I lose or not. I think we actually missed it. We missed the OB by a bit. We did inverse, but inverse, like you're trying to go for 1-to-1. You're not going for 1-to-1 here. I mean, I'll take it for the stream purposes only. Again, don't just copy trade. Telling you this is low probability. Want to take it? I don't know if we're even gonna get filled here. Where's the? Again, I'm currently on a paper account here. Okay. For those that just joined or are new, and didn't hear my announcement before, I have this paper account set up on TradingView so that whenever I do take trades in the future, instead of just having a position tool, you'll see like the execution marks like this, and you'll be able to see like the P&L, I guess, go up and down, which I don't know, I guess some people find it easier to tell like what the trade is, so I'll be doing that. And I'll have to take the trade on my phone, obviously. Oh snap! I forgot to put the order in. Again, this is a counter trend trade. Okay, it's not an example of a good trade I'd take if I was on the real count. We'll trade it for the sake of stream purposes, so we don't just sit here. But like I said, this is not a good trade to take. Sometimes what you could do if you're taking a counter trend trade, these are just like nuances in trading. You guys can try out if you want. Is because you know this is probably gonna fail. You can extend your stop loss. Okay, make sure you have your risk management is correct when you're extending your stop loss. You extend your stop loss in case we get like something like a wick or something. That makes sense. Like if we make a new low, and then it goes up with your TP, you can at least still take a winning trade instead of a low probability like losing trade. Except your R is going to be cooked here in a sense where you're going to have to go for the target too. So there's a drawback for sure for that. Like for example, your 1-to-1 is going to be like here. Again, you guys know I don't take low probability trades, so these are trades I wouldn't be taking ever really for the most part. On an account, like for example, this is low probability too since you're counter trending, except once you do take, if you wait for this and you wait for structure to start shifting on the right, taking these are a very high probability even though they're counter trending on the external, because price has already shifted showing you that it wants to go higher here just to mitigate something to go lower. TP wise, again, if you had to stop there, you could low-key just 1-to-1 is here roughly. That's your 1-to-1 point. If you want to go for a further target, what our target is, let's see. If you're looking for a whole mitigation cycle, mark out your 50% with your tool. And I mean, this is right above premium. You could TP at any of these zones really here. This one. Don't get too picky. I don't know if you guys remember on gold, I'll show you guys in a bit of what happened last time. But we did get wicked out TP by literally a few ticks. Let me show you guys. There's a trade here. It's a trade I took on stream. You see how I was aiming for this PY here? But we ultimately missed it. Guess what we hit? I literally drew this out a few minutes before we hit this point. I said there is a POC here. You guys see how accurate this stuff is? We hit the POC and then reversed. And look what happens. You miss not only your profit on the long, but you also miss the profit on the short. That's why you want to be careful in these situations when you have a lot of zones. Like I can't predict which zone is gonna hold and which one's not gonna hold. I think some people also ask me questions. How do you know which supply or demand is gonna hold? I don't. I do know direction though. I do know this is counter trend, so obviously demand is less likely to hold. But if you're asking me about specifics, I don't know. Also giving y'all some advice in the course to be selective on your zones too. Wait for the sweeps first and then take your trade. You don't need to take a setup on every single POI. If you don't like losing, or if you don't like taking as many losses, be more selective and take less POIs. It's just that simple. There's not like a holy grail, if you want to call it. Sometimes the first POI that you trade is going to hold. Other times it's going to be the third or fourth try that's going to hold. But point is, you'll still be green by the third or fourth try just because my system is high risk reward that I teach you guys. So you'll make back all your losses plus way more on the winner. Especially if you catch a high time frame expansion move. Make 20, 30 plus RR. If this doesn't go for TP and goes for a low, I'll show you guys what I mean by extending your stop loss like this. It just means like price wants to do a low sweep, or it just depends how much further price wants to go down. If you see on the left and there's so much space and gap to downside, then you never want to do this. But this would be like an example when you could try something like this. But again, make sure you're not like, you should, before you even enter this, having stop loss this, you should be already calculated with your risk. Did this hit 1-to-1? I don't know if it did. It went like 1 to 0.75. If you had aggressive stop, then it would have went 1-to-1. We'll see though if this original entry here holds or not. 1-to-1 point is sometimes, guys, if it gets so close to your 1-to-1, just like TP, you know, it's like this close, and there's a technical reason for price reverse. You don't see anything here, but if we're on this like the seconds, for example, and you see something, then yeah, like here, I'll mark it here, but this is your 1-to-1. Gold was a little messy last night. My initial buys still held all the way. Of being bearish. I was trying to go for the lows. I'll explain this gold trade or these gold trades. I was trying to go for the lows. Like my draw was this low here that sent to Discord. Took a -1 and then took a break even. And then I split my bias after we did a liquidity sweep and we made a break. Now we have a new trend on the right, so I'm following this new trend on the right for a retracement. Initially I was like, okay, we set pretty stay low. That's why we are going up. Maybe we can even go for this when our gap now. But then we ultimately went for this high time frame supply here. Took a loss with stop hunter here. And it was linked for longs here to see if we can get a move like this. And this is just a pure example to show you guys, like, even if you take losses in your wrong direction, you still win with the model. Took a loss here. We actually had an internal sweep here even, and price already went in my favor, but I was like, okay, this PY already failed. You could have taken another attempt if you wanted to here. It's up to you. But I was not confident here after seeing this fail and this fail too. And it looked like we hit high timer supply, and that now it's looking like a mitigation cycle, meaning we swept this to create this big reaction because it is a high time frame low, just to mitigate for mitigation cycle, aka retracement, just for the expansion. So at that point I flipped my bias and I found a stop hunter here. Again, there's no other PY here, so I'm expecting this to fail. Here. This is a fake. Don't take this. This is a fake out. Took this, covered above here prior to mitigation of this PY. You can cover this PY as well, but that's not really a good, it's not an ideal stop loss. For my backtesting, 3 RR is ideal to the internal low for stop hunter. So this is about 3 to 4 RR here to the internal low. And then just held basically towards this new accession low, because that's the original draw, right? This is the extreme low you're looking for to get violated. And you know, price did come back, but look, when it comes back, don't get scared. I talked about this in another video too. Don't get scared. I knew that this 5-minute was gonna hold if you want to go bearish. So we came back to mitigate this 5-minute, even mitigate this here. It's fine here, and you can see you could have even got a model here to the downside if you missed the 24 RR. You still could have made like 8, 9, 10, 11 RR off this here, and it just tanked. Why did it tank? I even marked this out ahead of time. I noticed all fully mitigated PYs. This is why I was trying to short here, guys. I saw all fully mitigated PYs. There's no PY here. These are all just lows to get ran. So that's how the 24R came to place. See in Q. See what ES. ES already took out the low. Oh, they both took out the low. So I'm assuming you count trend. And there's no model here from my system. Well, there actually is, but I wouldn't be taking something like this. This isn't something I'd take. There's a student in the group that does take these. These are what I call internal UBI continuations. Well, actually a few now. Not just one student, but a few students do take these. If you're anticipating demand to fail. But I do prefer waiting for a stop hunter to take these. Now, this is a situation where you won't have a stop hunter. The left trend here, there is no pullback to make a new low here. All of these are bearish candles. The last pullback was up here. I'm not going to wait for here to take a stop hunter. That's not a stop hunter anymore. That's in premium. Stop hunter has to be in discount if you're trying to short. So because there's a stop hunter here, you can consider any of these highs. Well, not these highs, sorry. You wouldn't consider any of these highs because these highs don't make a new low. Yeah, I think for this supply move, I don't know. Oh, I see something now. I had to have my indicator go back in time, but I do see it. Gold was reacting off this 15-minute supply. And remember, with gold, because there's so many more sweeps, the more volatile acid is, usually more sweeps. That's why sometimes stuff like this happens where 1, 2, in this case you had 3 sweeps. Even more rare. There's probably something though up here, I assume. If this is another PY, it doesn't count. But like you guys see like why I wouldn't long this, right? Because we're bearish on a higher time frame. And you also notice with time theory here, for 4 hours we've been bearish. Price is slowly climbing. Whenever price is slowly climbing to a PY, you really want to avoid that. That's just building liquidity. It's just slowly climbing. It gives you, whenever price slowly climbs though, up or down, it does give you a lot of entries you could potentially take with these ranges. So this is where like internal OP continuations work best. Stuff like this. You just purely set a limit order because this is a small range. Look at this range, only 5 candles. And there's your easy 4R. Without any stress. See how I think you dumped. Yeah, taking a counter trend trade. Now this would be a better counter trend trade if there was some sort of high time frame demand. But there isn't. I don't see anything here. Maybe there's this 15-minute, but this is not even a major demand. The major demand is down here. There's a huge gap here. We're bearish. So at this point, you have 2 choices. You either take internal continuations down here, which is more risky since we already took out this draw, this first low, or you wait for more structure to form, new ranges, maybe something like this, and then you can start looking for continuations to the downside. Do you guys prefer me having this paper account up here for execution purposes, like instead of just a position tool for future streams? Let me know. Let me know if you even find it like helpful or not. On a 1 hour, it tapped a fair value gap. So I'm expecting to get swept. Now that valid IFG, by the way, it had to inverse this whole thing if you want to take a counter trend. Again, all at this point, any longs here are counter trend trades. Sarazan, you said I'm waiting for. Sorry, I just read the chat here. I'm waiting for a sweep of the lows, then I'm in longs. Are you talking about? Are we talking about this long here? If you're talking about this, it's definitely not good. You know, counter and trade. Again, if you're ever gonna try counter trend, it's better to wait for a structure like this to form. Now, this will form a lot more when we have easy liquidity target like this. It's harder to form when we just have no like unmitigated PYs, or sorry, no mitigated PYs. Unless you're talking about maybe another asset. After that sweep didn't sweep when I told you I went bearish immediately. After that sweep, that didn't sweep. Which sweep? So you entered short somewhere? See what gold's reacting off of. Because I don't think I should be going bullish here. Still bearish. We didn't sweep on gold. I mean, we subbed this, but the most prevalent low really was this low here. We did hit this demand, but OB, there's IPG. $405, I assume that's my 305. There is a stop hunter you could take here. It's just going to be not as good because, wait, let me see. I don't think we mitigate any valid demand. It's not as good because we already took out the draw. 5 minute here. Let's see. We're in 5 minute demand. We took out the draw of the new session low already. But if you want to take this stop hunter, it'd be something like this. I can take it for y'all. I'm not gonna lie, there are multiple highs here. There's this high, there's this high, and there's this high. Usually I use the nearest, most prevalent one. So you take, sorry. If you want to cover both highs, it'd be something like this. But like I said, this is, in my opinion, not as good because we're already so low in the leg compared to all this structure. If there was like a stop hunter, let's see, there's a stop hunter like up here somewhere, or even as soon as you have this new session low, I mean, you could look for manipulation to go downside. This is lower, so it does become lower probability. But if you have a clear draw to downside, then it wouldn't be too bad. The clear draw, I think here is at least this low here, probably. We do have also high time frame. I don't want to keep drawing stuff. My chart's gonna start lagging, but yeah, there's definitely a low there to target. How far is this though? You always want to go on the 1 minute too. Most of my time, like I said, is spent on the 1 minute. You should go on the 1 minute just to see, like, because if you're on the higher time frame, this may seem like a very close target, but sometimes if you go on the 1 minute time frame, it might look really far. Actually, no, this would not be your stop loss for a stop hunter. Sorry, your stop loss would have to be much tighter because this is a awful risk reward. It's just a 1-to-1. Ideally, you just cover that. I think that's good risk reward. Yeah, that's good risk reward. When in a situation like this where there's so many highs, it's a bit more risky. Some people could consider this as the ultimate pullback, right? As this is a stop hunter high. But if you're taking the stop hunter like the normal way, I think just cover, if you just cover this stop hunter with this high, and then you cover this PY here, right above. Because if you enter here, usually you cover prior to mitigation, right? It's like prior to mitigation here, for example, for PY. You can't take this stop hunter and cover the prior to mitigation of this PY because it already mitigated. So you'd look for the next PY, cover prior to mitigation, or cover maybe another high that you see that's close by. Sometimes you do take out two highs. So like this would be a trade here for 3.37. And again, if you really want to go for a crazy target, you could go for this 30-minute low here. Or you go for this 3R here, which is what stop hunter is ideally. Like usually for stop hunter, there's two situations that are a good probability. You take it before we hit a PY, or sorry, not before we take out a liquidity, something up here, or you do it right after we take out liquidity, but immediately after, the first attempt after. Otherwise, like if we keep going lower, you guys know at some point we're gonna hit demand and we'll go back up, and that's when stop hunter fails. But it seems like it's playing out this time here, since we're not in any major demand on the left. And we have a clear low to target right here with a gap below. What do you guys think? Hold for 3R or go for the Go for the slow here. Or 6R. If you're trying to, like, for example, we'll hold. This is good, really good momentum, but I'm really careful when there's a lot of momentum though. Ideally with momentum, you want big candles in your favor. Quickly, you don't want, if it's small candles, then that means it's a lot easier for you to impulse delivery, break above. Did anyone take this? Last trading session of the year. No, the market's closed tomorrow, so yeah. For example, let's say you took this stop hunter. This is 3R, and let's say you made some mistakes of thinking this wasn't gonna hold because of these two sweeps. That's what I thought. Take -1, -2. I wouldn't count this just because, like I said, I told you guys this is low probability. This, if it hits TP, is 6RR. Navitrades, are you the dude in the course? I keep forgetting. Are you the dude in the course, or are you someone else? Or are you one of the mentorship students, or are you someone else? There's someone else with this very similar name as you. I just don't know if you guys are the same people. Are you envying me? Oh, okay. You haven't purchased a course? Gotcha. Okay, so nice. You just learned from my YouTube videos then, right? The Stop Hunter? Most people don't know about Stop Hunter because they don't have the course. I always thought you were the other dude in the mentorship. You guys have similar like profile pictures. Usually, like I said, if you usually TP, go for a target after take out a low, or if you're trying to go for something past a low, this is where you would like go break even. That'll be where your break even would be. Because if we get back-to-back stop hunters, then you'll get stopped out. Again, if you guys are new here and not in the Discord server, make sure to join the Discord. Oh, this is your old trading channel? Gotcha. Okay. Damn, yeah, I see your videos. How long have you been trading again? I forgot. Since like you started your channel about like only a year ago. Sometimes, you know, these far targets will pay off. I forgot to extend it. It's supposed to be this low. Sometimes it won't. It is double the RR here. I'd say in this case, it's worth it. Just because there should be no other demand here to hold. I think it's worth going for this further target here. If we go back for a mitigation, not good. Just because it's right next to your stop loss. Break even area. We'll watch this trade today, though. We'll see what happens here. That was old days when I first started. I wanted to document. Nice. It's always good to document your journey, you know. But yeah, editing and stuff takes a long time. Gotcha. Definitely, it just depends on what you're editing, how you're editing, what you're adding to your videos. For me, like My trade recaps, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really do too much editing or cutting at all. It's just like raw footage. Record for like 15 minutes real quick, do a trade recap and just post it. It's not like I don't put in effort, it's just I feel like there's not much editing needed for trade recaps, if that makes sense. I mean, maybe there is. You guys let me know what I could add into my trade recaps for editing purposes that you guys think would be cool, or I guess more entertaining maybe. Let me know though. I'm always open to like suggestions on ways to improve the videos, of course. But like me personally, I don't really spend too much time making videos. Like me on this one stream, or especially yesterday's stream, for 6 hours. That's equivalent to like each video takes me about 15 minutes to record. I mean, that's 24 YouTube videos. So, and that was in a single day. So yeah, maybe gold shorts, low key. Let me see. Everything else above, or not everything else, most of it is fully mitigated. Gold shorts here, I think wouldn't be bad. Let's switch over to gold real quick and see if we can. I know it's a late entry here. I don't really do too much analysis here, I'm not gonna lie. Oh shoot, wrong button. What am I doing? That was a crazy sell. Because on gold, I still think we're bearish. Not a good time to trade in general, but we have this 5-minute supply. We have our inducement here. Anything above, if we're bearish, I don't think they should really be holding. This is all fully mitigated. There is a supply up there, you could call it, but if we're bearish, we should be holding this inducement in a PY red above inducement, you know? The right entry would have been here, but for 5R, right, this is not a huge difference, 1R difference. So yeah, that's another setup I think you could take if you're trading right now. Your gold is frozen? Oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. Well, that's a trade on gold for y'all. NQ looking good though in the stop hunter, as you can see. About to hit 6R here. I wouldn't count these two losses I took here and this loss for today's stream, just because like I said, these are just me testing out something with just limit orders, because there's no entry model. And this one here is type 2 internal continuation that I've been noticing in the markets, but again, just testing stuff out. It's not a trade I would ever take if I was on like a funded or even a personal. And then there's a stop hunter here as well, which I didn't take on stream. There's a setup here. So today, for today's stream purposes, for like documentation, to be transparent, I'm gonna document all the like setups that are like valid, I guess. So this stop hunter is valid. There's no entry model here. There is an entry model here, I think. Let me see. There is. So I'll document these for stream purposes. Oh no, what is gold doing? This would be a -1 here. This would be a 3. You want to take this counter trend. And then this here, we'll see what happens here on this trade. See what's going on in gold. I'd be very surprised if we go higher. Unless we want to go back to maybe 50% of this. Then yeah, this would be a short end discount. But this is a massive range. I usually don't like marking, especially when we have so much structure here on low time. I don't like marking something with this big of a range, you know? Like, it's not the thing I like to do. I always look for inducement first and look for a POI. You mark, there's these two are fully mitigated, trendline liquidity. This PY above, there's a PY above, there's two, actually there's three trendline liquidity points here. There's the supply up here. No way. NQ missed the low. What did it go off of? 5 minute? There's only a 5 minute POI, but it failed already. Yeah, that's unfortunate for the stop hunter. Could have been a nice 6R, 7R trade. Went for mitigation. Maybe if you didn't go break even, maybe this will still go. We'll see. Let's look all the way to the left here. Why is it? Oh, okay. This is. So there's this. Unmitigated, and there's this. So these are the two POIs the price hit. Wait, no, sorry, that's not it. Hold on. Let me go in replay mode. Yeah, so there's only, we didn't even hit this PY. It still marks on my indicator. I mean, we didn't hit it yet. Yeah, that's strange. Maybe it's just going for a mitigation. Let's see. Leave. At least some of these drawings here. Oh, we did mitigate this bottom 1 minute. So this one failed on the left. And then we mitigated this new POI, the new entry model, the IFG to the upside right here. You could have got 1R out of the scalp to the upside. See, how much did it go? It ran for 5R. I mean, ideally you don't really target that unless you want to target the PY below. You can maybe get 4R out of it, aside from just a 3R targeting the low. But we'll see if we'll spectate, just watch this, see if this PY here holds. Let's go on gold real quick. Gold is, it mitigated the PY right above here. This is kind of like the last PY for gold before it can go wherever it wants, because if this supply here doesn't hold on gold, it's gonna run all this and then go up here. Guys, look at that stop loss, man. Look at that precision. I'm surprised, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it would mitigate the POI. It literally missed it. And our original stop loss held. Man, look at that beauty. What happened here is I think this is a 5-minute stop hunter. Yeah, this is a 5-minute high that got taken out here. Like sometimes, you know, well, it's going back up. We'll see though if this holds or not with the original stop loss. Now we mitigate this 1-minute OB for people that want to go higher. So now it's in between like whether or not this stop hunter on the 5-minute on the NQ. I don't think it's oh, it is a 5-minute high on NQ. It's basically between like this demand here or this 5-minute stop hunter. So if you miss the first stop hunter, your second stop hunter, if you want to take the 5-minute high, would be your entry would be here. I'm gonna be honest, I would have covered the PUI personally at this point because I saw it so close at the time. So I would have had like a 3-hour trade here. Maybe if you want to find a way to, if you cover just the high, of the candle, this is a 14-hour short. There's a 30-second PUI, but I don't really use 30-second PUI too much unless there's something missing I notice. Whenever like direction isn't super clear, try to avoid trading is my best bet for most people. Like you will know when direction is clear, when is it not. Like for example, when you have a clear range like this, it doesn't look too messy. But once you have something that's starting to look like this, it does get messy. And if you have like 5 million POIs, it's also not good either, you know? But in a normal like delivery, you guys can see like a huge difference between these conditions versus those. These conditions, you have clear like a clear high and low, not multiple highs and lows like a structure. And so because of that, with this, what you can do is literally you have clear PYs to long from. Clear PYs to long from. Again, Chop Fest. This isn't too bad here. You have a clear PY, supply above. At this point, I don't have a direction for gold anymore. We failed the first. We should have held this to go lower. This to me looks like there's a trend on the right, or sorry, on the left, and now there's becoming a new trend on the right. Let's say NQ. ES might mitigate the PY. I would probably go break even though if I was in this stop hunter here. Just because this first high did fail. Now it's another high. I think the hardest times to trade, like I said, is when structure is hard to read. Like stuff like this is also not super easy for me to read either. Like compare, for example, this versus this. Like you guys see a major difference, right? I hope you do. I mean, you better see a major difference. of how the range delivered. Like very clear ranges. When we have something messy, it's harder to read. Oh, we already took out that high. $36 candles. There's their internal sweep on gold. Right there. If you went break even, your break even point on this stop hunter, if you missed the first one, is up here. So you should still be in this trade here on on the stop hunter. I want to mitigate a little bit of the POI. We'll see. Oh, what the? I don't know what that is. There's a stop hunter on gold here if you think we're bullish. So it would be like an entry, something like this. And you can go for either next high or this trailing liquidity. Both are fine. Like I said, I was bearish before personally. It could have just been manipulation with this eternal sweep. So up to you whether or not you like this direction or not of being bullish. But I was bearish on gold. Maybe there's another POI that I missed. Oh. There was a POI I missed. It was just 15-minute. Look at that. Precision. It's 15-minute POI got hit on gold. First one didn't hit on the other one. Let's go back on NQ since it seems like most people are trading NQ. Gold is definitely like harder to read, but when conditions are good on gold, I personally think it's easier because the continuations, when you have a clear range, are very nice. Anyone still holding the stop hunter? Let me read the chat. I respect everyone who does both. Definitely wasn't for me. My gold is frozen. I'm in stop hunter on NQ. Nice. I can't check timestamps. Oh, never mind. I didn't enable it. That's why moderation activity will be shown. Not sure what that is. Nice. You're still in the stop hunter? It's looking good so far. We did fail the first OB demand. Oh man, this thing's about to melt. 7R. We took the other stop hunter, either 3R or 14. Like I said, if you cover this, 14R. This is like the last demand. Price has to hold. Or price has to fail, sorry, if you want to go lower. It is looking good right now, though. I like to see how this first attempt it failed. Broke too slow. That's good. Should be pretty good to go for the lows. Now gold is fine doing the bearish move I was looking for on the 15-minute. Like this is what I'm talking about on gold. Like these internal sweeps, they happen. Right? Like if you even took this off the second POI, this is your internal sweep. And it just happened, you know? Look at that. This is why I say like use the stop loss improvement method or increase method that you teach on the course. You would increase it by 1.5 times, so it would be up here. So you'd still be in this gold short if you took it off this POI right above here. Yes, you lose out on some risk reward. You lose out on 2 risk reward, but you also get in the trade, you know what I'm saying? If you took a re-entry, it's a nice 5.7 risk reward. Did anyone take the gold short? I think usually like on NQ for example, or ES at least, I give it 1 tick of breathing room. Usually that helps when we make equal highs and lows. And if you're on micros and minis chart, sometimes it does wick by 1 or 2 ticks. So you stay in the trade. But in situations where it doesn't help is situations like this, where it goes for a true internal sweep, then yeah, you have to increase your stop loss by however much that is. Because that is the OB intramal here. If you use the 1/4 version, you'll see. You put your stop loss essentially at the 0.75. Right? Unless my math is wrong. It should be 1.5 times more. Yeah, that is 1.5 times more. 0.5 times 1.5. Gold short is cooking for us, took it. NQ holding the last demand with ES. Okay. It's very interesting. We'll see what happens here. Again, I think gold should be going lower here. You should never target something like this unless you plan to hold to next day, but the market's closed tomorrow, so. NQ, ES, still holding the last demand. At this point, like I'd definitely be at break even. Just because if your entry was on this higher stop hunter, you're being protected here by this POI, which is below your break even point. I'm break even on NQ, haha. Did you hit break even or are you break even? Like, are you still in it or no? NVMe. My goodness. Hopefully they didn't hit you out break even. I don't know where you would have entered for break even though. It doesn't really make. I don't know where your entry would have been. If you use the 5-minute stop hunter, your entry's up here, so you should have been fine. If you waited for confirmation, then yeah, I think you would have. I'm trying to find. What in the world is going on? Oh. You're break even as in you went break even. Just hit your TP. Nice. Guessing you were TPing at this next low here. Damn, that must have saved you then. Because what is this candle? It is market closure. Nice. How much risk reward did you get off of it, Envy? By the way, I'm calling you by, I know your real name because you told me it before, but I'm just calling you by Envy Me. I don't know if you want to be called that, but yeah. Yeah, we did miss that low. That's crazy. Oh my goodness, never mind. We're going back for it. Let's see. I completely forgot the time. Now, it is literally market closure, basically. New York Stock Exchange close. Makes sense why we have these massive candles. I was like, what in the world just happened? About 2.5 R. Place stop. Nice, dude. Let's go. Good stuff. I also realized I need to enable a thing on my chat box. How did it disappear? I don't know why it disappeared. I used to have like a border thing. Let me see. Huh. Did they delete it? I think we'll go for it. We're so close. I think we'll go for it. Man, it would have been a nice trade to document on stream, but hit break even. You're definitely done for a day. Nice. Hey, it's a good way to end your day, man. It's a good way to end your day. Yeah, we should be going for it. Market closure, 1 more minute. Why is... Okay, I'm gonna have to figure this other stuff off stream, I think. Boom! There we go. Nice. Very nice trade. My goodness. It ran for sure. Oh my gosh, it's tanking. Yo. All right. Well, I'm gonna end the stream, guys, here. If you guys don't have any questions in a bit, I'll stay for a little bit. For a little bit. Let me delete this line here. We don't need that anymore. Stream results. I don't know if I want to count this 7R. Technically, it held. It just went break even. You guys think we should count that? Again, I'm gonna put in the title of the P&L today, but Stop Hunter, the valid setups. I think the gold short was valid, honestly. It's just, it stopped me out. So I count this loss here. Whoa. So -1 here on gold short. Didn't take the re-entry. It's okay. It's good to document your stuff, you know. I'm doing it so you guys can learn and look back on trades and see what like are valid trades, what are not valid. So if I'm doing this, you guys should be doing the same. This is the stop hunter that I was talking about before. Where's your entry? Your entry would have been here. This covering 2 lows, so that's good enough. There's this low and there's that other low. And you basically make 3R out of this. The next setup that this one's not valid. That I was just messing with the limit order. This next setup here was there's an OB entry model, so if you're bullish like me, I was honestly bullish like until we hit supply. I thought we'd hit the supply, but I got tricked by the gap. I'm not gonna lie, because we did have trend liquidity and we did have a PY here, so all good. Not a huge issue. You just take one loss here trying long, because the other long you get a 3R unless you target the gap, then maybe break even. So -1. Again, not going to count this trade. Like I said, this is a counter trend trade. You don't want to be taking these. I don't ever take these really. If you see most of my streams, I'm taking pro trend trades. So 2 losses, 1 winner, and then we can count this if you want for 7R or break even. I'll just put text here for those that did hold it. 7R break even. Anyway, again, make sure to fill out the form, okay, to put in your thoughts and opinions. Helps the channel, or helps me figure out what you guys want to see more on the channel. Like I said, I make these videos and streams for y'all. I don't gain anything out of them, so yeah, let me know in that form. But if we don't count the 7R as a break even, P&L wise, we 2 losses, 1 winner, so you'll be up just up 1 RR today. Gold, I still think downside here. Personally, I think downside, not financial advice. I'll put a thing on the title. So it's either you make 1R or a R. I'm gonna go back to my streams. Maybe I can go. Actually, that's gonna be too much effort. I'm not gonna go back to every single stream to check the P&L. I do write the P&L though for most streams in the title, usually right after, so it's a lot easier to track. I think so far we had 3 or 4 red days on streams, and then the other days where I live traded having green. But I do have a playlist if you guys want to go back and watch it of live trades and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna end it here, y'all. Have a good one. I'll see you guys in the free Discord server. Again, join with the link in there. If you guys want to chat for a bit, but definitely done for a day. And NVB, nice. You trading Asia tonight? I don't know. Is Asia even open tonight? Other markets close tomorrow. I'm not sure if Asia is open tonight. Don't remember, to be honest. If it's open, maybe. Again, I'm not trading more on my personal. I'll be trading on funded accounts. So yeah, I think so. We'll see what I want to do. But yeah, if I am trading Asia, I'll try to hop on stream here in a bit later. Otherwise, this is going to be last stream of the year. Hope you guys had a great year trading, great year learning. Again, even if you're not profitable yet, as long as you're learning and progressing and you're journaling, that's good, right? Stutter sign TP smacked. Nice. You also took a short from, oh, a different setup, I assume, right? Not the stop hunter. Anyway, good job, guys. Following the trend on the right again. NQ shorts were removed today. I know no webcam today. I have this logo on the left just as a replacement for now. But yeah, I'll see y'all short at 305. Nice. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next stream. See you Friday. Yeah. Again tomorrow, guys. No trading. Markets are closed tomorrow. All right. Don't wake up in the morning, wherever you live, super early just to end up not being able to take a trade. All right. Stay safe, y'all. See y'all next one. Peace. Again, my outro music, people thought it was funny, so I'm gonna keep the outro music here. All right. Yeah, we'll play the outro music here. So why not? It's an AI song that just auto-generated for me, so yeah. We'll play this for the people trying to leave now. Anyway, see y'all next one. Peace.
Create a song talking about day trading the freedom it provides. Money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day trading the freedom it provides. Money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day trading the freedom it provides. Money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day trading the freedom it provides. Money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day trading the freedom it provides. Money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day trading the freedom it provides. Money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day trading the freedom it provides. Money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. How to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade.
Many people online think that drawing liquidity and predicting or anticipating price is completely discretionary when that is completely far from the truth.
Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. How to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. How to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day, trade in the freedom it provides, money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how Create a song talking about day. Trade in the freedom it provides. Money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. How to trade. Create a song talking about day. Trade in the freedom it provides. Money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential trainers, university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day. Trade in the freedom it provides. Money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential traders, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day. Trade in the freedom it provides. Money, location, time, freedom, as well as mentioning essential trainers, a university, since that is what I run and where I teach my students how to trade. Create a song talking about day. Trade in the freedom it provides. Money, location, time, freedom.